back in the day when the market crashed, like we talked about, like 2006, it started getting kind of hairy, but 2007, 2008, it got really rough. And I continued to keep buying. I just changed my margins. So for instance, this one neighborhood down around 24th Street and Broadway, South Phoenix, lower income thing. I bought a property in there for $120,000. I sold that property for $125,000. Then I turned around and bought another property in that neighborhood for $100,000, and I sold that for $105,000. Then I bought in there for $60,000, and I sold that for $65,000. And then I was buying a whole bunch of properties in that $40,000 range. I kept a few as rentals. I turned around and sold a few for $2,500, $5,000 more. And then the rock bottom was when I bought two houses in that neighborhood for $12,500 a piece. And I turned around and sold those for $25,000. And then after that point, I started back in and buying around in the 40s and then the 60s and then the 70s and then the hundreds. And now that neighborhood trades for around 200,000, right?
Wow.
So what my point is as it came down, I just was able to get a little bit cheaper so I could turn around and sell it. You know, I didn't focus on where the prices used to be, right? And then as it was coming back up, I didn't focus on it and say, oh, well, I used to buy for $12,000. Well, those weren't possible. I had to start buying at 40. And then when that neighborhood went up into the 60, 70, 80 range, I didn't focus on that I was buying at 40,000 before. I was focusing on, hey, this is where it is, and I can sell for a little bit more, right? So we've got to pay attention. So if we do see a drop in the market, that's fine. We just got to come down. And when we see the bottom hit and come back up, we've got to know that we've got to adjust. Unfortunately, I've seen investors make big time mistakes when the market was dropping. That's harder. But when it comes back, we also make big time mistakes because we're living in the past. We have to live with what is happening right now and not focusing on where it used to be. Oh, it used to sell for a lot more, or, oh my gosh, it used to sell for a lot less. Why can't I keep buying so low? You can't, but you can buy now and you can make money at that. And you can make money at that if you're doing a fix and flip. You can make money on that if you're selling it as is, as maybe a wholesale deal, or you're making money with that is if you're using it as a rental property. Like that neighborhood was a great opportunity. Back in the day, before the market crashed, there was no way I was buying rental properties in there because all I could rent those things out was for $12,000 or $1,200, right? So I wasn't buying at $200 because they didn't cash flow. But when the market started crashing, guess what? I was able to start buying. And then when the market dipped way low, I was still able to mark. But then when it came back, after it hit about 120,000, I stopped buying in that neighborhood for rentals because it didn't cash flow anymore. But it never was cried about the way it used to be. I'm focusing on what's happening today.
Right. And one of my mentors taught me, you can make money in any economy.
Yep.
You got to adapt to what the market is giving you. So on the down markets, you just adapt to the prices. On the up markets, you just adapt to prices. That's all it is.
100%. And where do you find what's really going on in the market is by having conversations with, like you and I are having, going out and having conversations with real estate agents, having conversations with, closings attorneys, title companies, get a feel for what they're doing, having conversations with other investors in, different ASREA groups and things like that to get an idea. Now, be careful with that, is you're going to find the people that are going to want to focus on all the doom and gloom. That's okay. But we need to also weigh that to the other conversations. So it's just not one conversation. It's multiple conversations that we need to have with people in the industry to get a feel for what's really, really happening out there. The numbers definitely don't lie, but way better than the numbers. Let's talk to people that are actually closing transactions and seeing how those things are going. Because sometimes we can get skewed by just looking at data. Data is important, but let's have real conversations with real people that are doing stuff.
You want to talk to the right people, keyword, right?
Exactly. And even the ones that are crying about stuff, okay, cool. I listen to them, but I maybe not put as much weight on that. Another great example of someone to talk to is someone that in the construction business, is that tells us what's happening. Are people still spending money on remodeling their house? And the answer is yes. the guys that work for me are busy. You know, they're still getting new jobs that are coming in. People are still remodeling their bathrooms. I had to pay one of my my workers for a job that he completed, and he had already moved on to the next job. And so I went and I paid him, and then I drove around that area to see what I could find. See if I could find any for sale by owner signs, see if I could find any for rent signs, right? And unfortunately, I didn't find anything, but what I did see was I saw people were getting new roofs put on their house. There were dumpsters in the front of their houses, which means that there was remodeling. The person across the street was having their whole front landscaped. They were taking all the rock and they were going to do something there. That's a good sign that people are spending money on their homes, so we're not completely in a dead market. So contractors are a great source to find out what's going on out there in the real estate.